All right, let's get started. Pardon me for if I sound a little not myself or like not as energetic or normal stuff like that. I kind of I was scarfing down nachos with pulled pork on it, and I had to like rush to my kitchen to put the thing away and then rush back. So yeah, I was a little out of breath because I was like mid-eating as I was trying to put it in the fridge, and then I like right before I muted, I like had to swallow the food, and so I'm just trying to catch my breath on that. So, but yeah, it's VOD time, guys. And I apologize I haven't been streaming as much, but hopefully next week that should change a little bit. At least for the next 2 weeks when I stream, it'll be at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Look, he opened a pibber. No, this is a black cherry fresca. So, it's a black cherry fresca, so it's 0 calories, 0 sugar, 0 sodium, no caffeine. Okay, it's 2%, like, there's 2%. But, yeah. So, what is this nerd crap here, and how can I join? If you were a VTuber, that's how you'd be able to join. So, yeah, I need to unplug my mouse. But we got a great show lined up for you today. Not to mention there's also some cool new stuff happening. I'll share with you guys a little sneak preview of the... whatchamacallit. Where is it? There are you. There you are, right there. So, I'll share with you guys a little sneak preview for a new... So then, unfortunately, Amon, you can't be on the VOD then, because it's a VTuber talk show. And I make no exceptions. But, should you choose to change that, then we can talk. This is a nice little song here. But here, let me do this. You guys will get a sneak preview about something that, something that we're working on. Let me make that like that. We're gonna load this up right here. There's that. We're gonna lower the size on that. We're gonna put it down here like this. Like that. We're gonna put it right there behind the mic. So, I hope you guys are a little excited. Oh, okay, well maybe I'll just stick that like right there. See, why is the opacity like... I didn't realize that. Maybe it just exported funky. But, there's that now. Wait, where did you go? Where about... Oh, there's my image. There. Don't mind that. There it is right there. So... No, Amon. So, this is coming soon. Working on the next audio drama. So things are coming along nicely for that. We have a teaser trailer that is coming, that is already made. So I just need to post that, but I want to make sure the first episode is ready to be recorded with before I post that. And it's going to be a 5-episode audio drama. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be super cool, and I hope you guys are as well. So yeah, let's get rid of that for a moment. It's our wonderful writer, Fo. Isn't that fun to see? Fo here is somebody who I'm working with recently, and we are currently writing scripts for some various voiceover projects. So that's on the way. Not to mention I'm also halfway done with making the Patreon. So the first 3 tiers of the Patreon have been made. I just need to make the next 2. And so there's either 5 or there's gonna be 6. So there'll be a $2, or a $2 or $3 option. There's gonna be a $5, a $10, $15, and a $20. And maybe for whatever reason, I can't imagine why anybody would want to do it, a $40 or $50 option, but that'll be like reserved slots. So those will have like the best goodies in it. But the hope is that with that Patreon, it'll go and support all the future VO shows I do. That way I can commission and make beautiful animatics for all of the projects I do going forward. So that's kind of another incentive for why I haven't been, or another reason I haven't been doing as much voiceover stuff, like projects on the channel, because it just takes a lot of resources on my end to do, and sometimes just a little hard for me to do all of that by myself. So, enough about that, enough about me. It's time for us to get into our episode of the VOD, because remember, we're trying to go to 1 hour for our episodes, and we should probably get into that. So, we can talk about that a little after. I'll be sitting in my server after stream, so if you want to say hi and talk to me, you're more than welcome to. So let's see. Today will be... They didn't do the today will be welcoming. If our wonderful guests can hear me, I would love it if they edited that. That wonderful bit of their intro that they wrote. That looks so nice and clean and tidy. Today, we will be welcoming an overall chill dude with a variety of interests, from gaming to voice acting to writing and everything in between. Though he's still finding his footing as a VTuber, he's always down for a good time with friends, and is always looking to branch out into even more collabs with some new friends in the near future. Just don't ask him where his next Humblewood game is. I don't know what that means, but hopefully our wonderful guest will explain it. Everyone, please give a warm welcome to our very own rainbow dragon, Iris Fulgur. That is a very big head. It's such a yeah. It's okay.
That is the downside of using emotes for the time being, but that'll just have to do.
You know, it is what it is. I mean, that's not anybody's fault. So, you know, you have the emotes, you have your design. That's more than a lot of people can say. Oh,
I don't want to down talk anyone, but I've been working on this for a while, so like.
Hey, there you go. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I
just need to actually get a model.
Oh, yeah.
That's the next step.
Well, there you go. Building a model constructing all that, it takes time. It takes time, and it takes a lot of effort, and especially the thing that makes the world go round, and that's money. So, and every time I swear, makes me cry. There we go. I'm moving my stream chat thing, so I typically like to pop it out, and I put it right between me and my guest, so I can look at that and also look at you. Yeah, just a side thing. I've been talking about you to friends, being thankful for your feedback. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. If anybody else wants more like feedback or help on voice acting stuff, feel free to reach out. I'm always willing to help. Where can I pet the dragon? Oh, that's up to our guest.
I would need to figure out like the VGen stuff at some point, but yeah.
No. Pet the dragon. Like I think they just want to pet you.
Oh. I mean.
Amon also has a dragon OC, if you will.
Oh, hell yeah.
So
love dragon. I mean, obviously.
So let's get right into it. Iris, it's time for me to ask my favorite, my first, my favorite, and my most important question. That is, who are you, and what is your story?
So, I'm Iris Fulgur. I also just occasionally use my real name, Alec. I'm not super shy about that.
Mm-hmm.
I've basically been working on Twitch ever since I've mostly settled where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, I've been just all over the place, never really had like a super stable household.
Mm-hmm.
But basically moved near yearly since I was 13 up until 25, which basically pushed me into making all of my long-term friendships online and very much integrated me into some of the more online communities that I've basically fostered into like long-term friendships. And I've literally met up with a whole bunch of my online friends. We've gone to cons together, done a whole bunch of other stuff. So when I got a more stable footing, one of my friends was doing streaming. I'm like, hey, can you like walk me through some of that? And the rest is kind of history. I've not like super been great about advertising myself, but I've been streaming almost non-stop ever since I want to say 2021, 22-ish. I'm not super consistent, but
Go ahead.
I've just been doing more and more stuff to try and get more of a schedule locked down. So like I've got the weekly D&D streams. Me and my friends do a weekly like collaborative co-op thing, and then I've also got visual novel streams that are going on weekly as well. So
Yeah. Sounds like you got a lot of a good head on your shoulders, especially when it comes to treating streaming like a hobby. That's something we talk about a lot here on the on this channel, is just how if you're choosing to stream, make sure that you understand where your priorities lie and how you want to treat it, because you're going to get out as much as you put in, and then not like that's kind of how that it works like that, but also works with whatchamacallit, luck. That's what it is. It's luck. As sucky as it is to say, when it comes to entertainment in the entertainment industry, because streaming would be in the entertainment industry, you could say it's a content creation. No, that's entertainment, baby. That's entertainment.
No, yeah.
and so the thing is that excuse me, when it comes to that kind of stuff, you just have to understand, getting big in this, it's about 90% luck and 10% hard work. And people can disagree with me on that. You're welcome to disagree with me on that. I have family that work in Hollywood. I come from a long line of special effects makeup artists that dates back to the beginning of Hollywood. You know, one has an Oscar and every one of them has Emmys. And the thing is, and that's what it was. They worked hard, but they only got where they are because they got lucky. So, but it's how.
I mean, I can like, speaking to that, I can literally trace a line to me being here all the way back to me making friends back in like 2016. And if that one thing hadn't happened, I wouldn't be here right now. Because I met you after being friends with Tony, and Tony invited me to your server. And then I met Tony through another friend who I played D&D with. And I met that friend through another friend that I was in an online forum with. So like, yeah, no, it's just things add up, you make connections, and hopefully they pan out.
Yeah, it's because that's the thing. There's a saying when it comes to entertainment. It's called it's not what you know, it's who you know. So yeah, that's a big part of how you kind of grow and get bigger as an entertainer. But content creation tends to be a little different, and it's good that you keep that mindset of, you know, I'm having fun, I'm enjoying, I'm not doing, you know, I'm not looking at the numbers, it's just nothing. I'm just doing this because I want to. It's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
So,
I think the only thing I would add is, like, you do still need to have that drive to like make those connections, because like that's what I'm working on personally. Is I'm just like, Tony offered me to come to the server, and I'm like, you know what? I do actually want to do that because I want to make those connections. I want to start working on voiceover stuff. I want to put my name out a little bit more. Like, yeah.
It takes time, and most importantly, it takes confidence, and that's the big part people struggle with. It's just like, just go ahead and just do it. Just go ahead and send it. Like, that's the biggest thing. At least in my opinion, that's one of the hardest things people struggle with as being a content creator. Is you can do it. You can talk to people, but things you have to just have a sense of. You just have to have a sense of confidence. Just get out there and push yourself. If you're not comfortable with that, that's fine. You know, you just need to work on it. It's a little hard to grow and to make those connections if you just don't have a little bit of confidence. And a little bit of confidence goes a long way. Because I've talked about it many times before, where the people I ask on the VOD, I ask a wide range of people. And, you know, there's some people I ask that like have hundreds of thousands of followers and subscribers and whatnot. I ask them on Twitter or something like that. And while I don't get a reply back, I still made the effort and I still did it. I'm like, well, I did on my end. The ball's in their court now, whether or not they happen to see it. So, you know? Oh,
yeah. No, I get that for sure.
Yeah. So then, where do you hope to kind of go with that? Just try to put your best foot forward.
I've definitely been, I mean, obviously I'm in your server. I'm trying to do more voiceover stuff for sure. That's honestly where I want to start, like, pushing the most as an actual, like, career path. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But, I just, like you said, I'm handling it more as a hobby at the moment. I've got my own work that I do just in my off time to actually make money, and basically fund my hobbies until maybe one day they actually start making more money than the job. But
yeah,
we shall see.
you kind of have to use, like, that's how I approach it. Like, as much, even though I don't stream as much anymore these days, until I clear my schedule a little bit, I have my main job that I work, and that's what I use to supplement the fun stuff. And this is the fun stuff. But the thing is, that will always be much more. Bugshot Brigade. Oh, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that. Welcome in. Oh, you should be follower 740. Let's go. We love those numbers of, like, increments of 5. Heck yeah. Oh, where did my mind go? What was I talking about? I got hit so hard with the soda, I just forgot what I was saying.
Funding the fun stuff with your...
Oh yeah, funding the fun stuff. Yeah, and so no matter what, like, I'll always put more time and focus into... Thank you, Fo. I'll always put more time and focus into my IRL stuff than I will my streaming, because that's where my priorities lie. Because that's just that's the responsible thing to do. So, you know... But if it ever gets something to be bigger than what I want, then, you know, that will go from there. So, but anywho, moving on a little bit, what exactly do you like to stream the most? What exactly do you do? Because I think a lot of the streams I tend to see you do are, at least that I pop into, are D&D streams.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely the most frequent, or the most regular one we have, just because... that's the one that everyone has literally scheduled time off of for. So like on Mondays, which is time is an enigma. 4 Central, I think. No, 4 Mountain. No, 6 Mountain time. Good lord. Can you tell I've also woken up a little more recently? 6 Mountain time. We do weekly D&D streams. That is basically a amalgamation of the DMs, like all the other DMs campaigns kind of mashed into one, and we decided to start streaming it because we were just having a lot of fun with it. So
what made you
it was just one of those things where it's like so many fun things happened in their previous game, because this is their second campaign that I've been in. And there were so many just nice, dramatic, fun moments that happened in that previous campaign that we just will never get to see again because they weren't recorded. And it was just one of those things that's like, just for preservation purposes, we would have liked to started stream it. And that's honestly part of why I started streaming as well, is just for preservation. I like having that first time experience recorded so that you can go back and look at what you thought of something when you first saw it and see how your perceptions have changed. And that's it's very fun. Aside from D&D, I just do a whole bunch of other just gaming stuff. I do a lot of variety stuff. We did webcomic readings for a little while with the permissions of the authors, which was very fun. So yeah, it's just whatever we get. I usually try to consult friends because I like to do things with friends. It's just what keeps the energy up during streams, because otherwise I'm fairly quiet if I'm just kind of on my own. Bigfoot knows that's Bugshot Brigade. This is one of my friends.
Oh, heck yeah. Welcome.
The webcomic readings were fun, but unfortunately schedules kind of broke down for that one. But I'd love to do that again in the future, if we can get the schedules lined up again for that, because that was fun.
I mean, clearly from having your one of your members of your community here, you know, they like a lot of the stuff you do. I mean, webcomic readings, the moment you brought that up, just like, oh yeah, I missed that. So, but trying
fun stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that you bring up the videos and photos and all of that. Of just like, I've been reevaluating and just kind of thinking about I've just been thinking about like all the photos like I took when I was in Japan and all stuff like that, and I was like, is it worth it for me to be taking all these photos or to just savor the moment? And as I was thinking about that, I'm like, well, I don't look at it every single day, but it's one of those things where when I just combing through it and I just happen to see it, I'm like, oh man, that was cool. I really like that. I really like that moment. And I think that's the part that's good to understand about why we do that, why we record these things, why we post them. It's like, sure, you could say they're for posterity's sake, but at the end of the day, it's like, I really enjoy seeing and just thinking about those times for but a moment and then carrying on with my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you're like, oh, I remember that stream. That was fun. Okay, moving on.
Yeah. It also gives you a way to share that experience with others. It's just really nice to kind of just, at the very least, just have that on hand so that you can go, hey, look at this thing that I did. This thing that I enjoy.
Exactly.
This moment that's special to me. Yeah.
Exactly. It's a perfectly preserved time capsule that you just can't. It doesn't make it special when you continuously keep opening it back up to look inside. So, but it's just one of those things where every now and then it's just nice to just look inside, and be like, oh yeah, I remember that, and you put the top back on, throw it back in the ground. So, but you know, like continuing the talk on D&D, it's like there's so many channels and there's so much stuff about D&D on Twitch. Do you just do that because you just want a source to, as you said, just kind of record and post it, or is it a, you know, are you hoping that maybe your D&D stuff could get a little more attention? You can do that a little more. Just
so that one. So this is actually going to wrap down to the Humblewood stuff. Funnily enough. So the campaign that we're currently recording is mostly just for personal use. Like that's just us recording it. If people enjoy it, then hell yeah. But like we're doing that so that we have that to look back on it in the like distant future, encapsulate all those fun moments that we had together. The Humblewood game is a game that I am actually actively planning, and I don't know if I'm actually going to stream it. It's in the works, but it's basically going to be using the Hit Point Press's Humblewood setting with a more unique like tabletop system called the Sentiment System, which is basically just you homebrew everyone's abilities from the ground up. And that's just how I like to run my games now. I like to be a little bit more loose and free form with the actual gameplay, because the roleplay is where I personally find the most interesting and fun moments happen. But that game is something that I've kind of been working on in my off time whenever I get around to it. And hopefully it'll eventually culminate into something that's just an actual, like, fun experience to show people. Like, a fun...
Yeah.
A fun encapsulation of just what me and my friends do when we're having fun in role-playing and showing off these characters that hopefully develop over time. And, like, I'm a writer. I like to have narrative through lines a lot. And that's one of the things that I'm working on, is, like, figuring out how to tie everything together in that kind of game. And it's gonna be it's definitely one of my more ambitious projects, and it's taking a while, but fingers crossed I get that done by the end of the year. That's kind of the goal at the moment.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's like, what I find that a lot of people who tend to be doing D&D, and especially recording, just doing a lot of stuff on Twitch, they just do it, for lack of a better phrase, they do that crap for the love of the game. And
yeah.
Like, I wish I was more into D&D. I've played D&D a couple of times, and I've really enjoyed it, but I've never had an intense desire to do it. But it's one of those things where if somebody invited me for a possible one-shot on a stream, I wouldn't say no. I think I'd be down. That could be fun. It's just that, with how busy my schedule is, one-offs or, like, quote-unquote tavern adventures tend to be, like, the best, because there's no fear of commitment.
Yeah, for sure.
So, you know... Say, hypothetically speaking, say you had the money, you had the resources of the famed long-haired vested man, Matt Mercer, and his and his family at Critical Role. What would you like to do for your streams if you could, with that level of money and notoriety?
I would hire so many editors and like map makers and artists and everything. I would have so much assets going into the actual production so that I could focus entirely on just writing the stories. I am not great with art or like presentation as much. I hire Tony. I hired like so many other artists to do art for me, because I like supporting people in their art, but I'm not even like opposed to training myself. I've done some art on my own, but like I just don't really have the drive for that particular skill set, and I like developing my writing a lot more, and I would love to just hunker down in my room for a month, write out an entire campaign, and just have all the assets ready to go with me and my friends to just make an absolutely incredible story to show the world. Like, that's what I would love to do.
It reminds me of like playing, like when I'm playing a game of tabletop Warhammer with my buddy. It's like perhaps the biggest, because you can buy all the pieces and all the dice and all that, and that's wonderful. But what truly elevates is the moment you're able to make an environment that just makes it good. Because all of the his voice notably lit up speaking about his passion. That's what it should be. Like the moment you're able to get terrain, you're getting buildings, you're able to have just this big table that is no longer... You're basically looking at... You're at Disneyland, you're in the Hall of Presidents or wherever it is, and you're looking at the scale diorama of Disneyland itself, and you're just like, that's how I want my... I think that will elevate my D&D games to the next level. Is that level of detail.
Sure. Yeah, 100%. But like getting grounded, like that's not a reality for people, so you just kind of gotta work with what you have and tell the stories you can, and just not worry about it being perfect. Just worry about having fun with your friends. Like that's where I'm at the moment. It's just like I'm just having fun with friends. We're just doing our thing. We're vibing.
Yeah, and I think that's all that matters.
If it comes to that point where we can start funding all that stuff, then hell yes. But for now, we're just living our lives, having fun with each other.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
That's what I value.
Hopefully you haven't had much, like, contention or events like that on stream when you're playing D&D with your buddies.
Not too much. It gets a little dry at times, but aside from that, not so much.
That's good. Because I'd be... I've noticed that when it comes to D&D, sometimes there are, like... Because, again, I'm not well-versed in, playing D&D or just stuff like that. When I hear horror stories about playing, and just I can't imagine what would happen if that happened on stream. But I guess that leads me into my next question, and that is, do you have any D&D horror stories?
Oh boy, do I.
Because I know my answer to that, I knew the answer was yes. So, then share it, please, by all means.
So I'm not going to get into all of them, because some of them are associated with friends that I do still have. There are some issues with the way that we've played together. But, speaking to past people that I've basically severed ties to, I don't mind spilling the tea on that stuff. So we basically... This is one of my first games, actually, I think. I was playing with this person. But, I basically had the stereotypical edgelord, I'm gonna do my own thing, lone wolf kind of rogue. And they basically wanted to just do their own thing, split off from the party constantly, dragged the spotlight back to them at every opportunity, and it basically culminated after a couple sessions of them getting caught by the guards, none of us being around, and their character basically either having the choice of being imprisoned or killed in the moment. And after they took the obvious route of just having their character killed, they were dropped from the game. So, yeah.
Thank you, Viv. I can only imagine how frustrating that can be when you have somebody who just doesn't want to conform to the game. Because I have... Thankfully, all the games I played, everybody worked together. Maybe there was one person that wanted to act a little more alone, but they always made sure it's like, I don't want to be an inconvenience to everyone else. It was never... Nobody ever had the mentality of, God made me, so I'm going to make it all of your guys' problem. Or God let me live another day, so I'm going to make it all your problem.
I think the best advice I can give to anyone who wants to actually have, like, improve their roleplay experience is share the spotlight. I'm not necessarily saying step out of the spotlight. I'm saying bring people into the spotlight with you, because that is where the magic happens. If you bring someone into a moment where they aren't, like, they might not be comfortable stepping into the spotlight or, like, taking the scene, but if you bring them into that moment and actually start, like, role-playing with them and having them do something that their character is talented at or proficient with, you can start actually building that character moment out with them, and it just elevates the game for pretty much everyone, especially if you manage to bring the entire, like, table together for something. It's so good. It's something that I notice a lot. Like, it's just one of those things where it's like people will, like, take turns and, like, step out of the spotlight, let somebody else take the stage. No, you wanna play together. Like, that's where you build the story out.
Yeah. I think the Foe's comment of it's a collaborative effort is very much one of the most important things about it. Is D&D is a team thing. Sure, you can have your own, like, you can have your own feelings and reservations about it. However, at the end of the day, you're very much just you're playing with a team. You're playing with other people. You're relying on other people, and putting people on the spot, putting people in the spotlight, is certainly something that helps foster that sort of sense of community, that sense of closeness. And people are afraid. I feel like people are afraid to do that, because I remember, like, I DM'd a game one time, and it was so stupid because we took it all very seriously with our characters.
Yeah.
Because don't you say skibbity sigmas? Don't you tell that to me? So I was like, they confronted like this big bad, like, dictator of an island, and it was excuse me, they confronted the big bad dictator of the island or whatever, and, like, I had this whole stupid monologue planned, and I even went as far as to be like, you know, like, you are sick vermin or whatever, you make me sick, it's disgusting, I don't even want to be in your presence without you being as clean as I am, you know what, take this bar of soap and clean yourselves up. And it was like, I threw the soap, and my buddy was like, I want to use my ability as a monk, and I'm like, what?
I want to catch the soap and throw it back at him.
That's exactly what he did. And I'm like, I'm like, this is just part of, like, a thing that wasn't meant to be done. It wasn't meant to be done like that. And so he's like, I don't care. I want to roll. I am a monk. I have the ability. I'm like, okay, fine. Roll for it. Rolls, it hits like a 17 or something. I'm like, cool. How do you catch it? How do you do that? And he says, I'm shirtless. I catch it between my pecs like David Hasselhoff and shoot it back. And I'm like, what is this? And he's
incredible.
And he says, because I'm throwing it back, I get to roll for damage. I'm like, what do you mean? This isn't a battle. He says, I don't care. But technically, I'm throwing it back. I'm like, roll for it. He says, that's a 17 again. I'm like, he takes 1 damage. Is that okay? Is that satisfying? He's like, yes. I'm like, what is this game?
Yeah, no, exactly, Phoenica. You gotta learn to roll with the punches. That's the beauty of D&D. Yeah, you just go like, well, this is not going how I expected it. I guess this is the game now. Oh god, I actually also have a perfect encapsulation of that kind of mentality. Oh lord. So one of the first games I ran, I was trying to come up with my own adventure, and I was very new at the time and didn't really, like, have a grasp on, like, what would be interesting or quote-unquote cool at the time to play out as an adventure. So I had the goofy idea of making a story of a rogue unicorn that got corrupted and turned into a nightmare. And I had the brilliant idea that all of the unicorns would be named after Lucky Charms, and the one that got corrupted would have been the Heart Charm. So when the entire group got to the cave where the nightmare was basically had its lair set up, I had introduced itself as Shadowheart. And unsurprisingly, that was the most unserious thing I could have done because the entire table erupted into laughs. I'm like, well, this is not the reaction I was expecting. I guess this is the tone we're taking now. And I just had the goofiest combat encounter with that. Just completely new to the game, just rolling with it, figuring out things as I did it. Eventually had one of the unicorns showed up. Look at the unicorn stats. They have banishment as one of their abilities. I'm just like, oh, well, this is funny. And I just have the unicorn banish the other nightmare into the Shadowfell, and that just ended the fight. I'm like, all right, guess this is what's happening now.
Sometimes if things went your way, it wouldn't be a game of D&D.
No, yeah, it's you just gotta roll with it, man. Sometimes the tone just doesn't match what you picture, and you still just gotta have fun with the game. I got super flustered in that campaign. In that session, I was like completely off my groove. I got super thrown off. But it was a fun time, and it's a memory that I still have, mostly because it was traumatizing me at the moment. But
it's
now
the
I can look back and go
Pokemon.
like, hey.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? I was gonna read that out. Just like Leprechaun. I hope you're ready for some of my lucky charms. We're going to make sure that you're not going to get out of this cave alive. Or my name is Shadowheart.
Shadowheart. Yeah, no, that's the exact voice. Yep.
It's very much we're calling this cultural appropriation stereotyping very much a light Jacksepticeye. And now I'm gonna kill you and slaughter your family. It's like, where did that come from?
Yeah. So, trauma makes for a great way to look back at yourself and laugh at experiences that are very silly in retrospect.
So, there's one that, because we have about 15 minutes left, and I'd love to get to talking about D&D. But, gosh, this is just, one of these days, I want to spend, maybe just do, something I want to do, going forward, is kind of do special episodes of the VOD, where I kind of want to have, multiple people, kind of like a panel, and just, a roundtable discussion, and just talk about things. And honestly, I'd love to do, just an episode of just talking about D&D. Because I'd love to learn more about it. Oh my god,
that would be so good.
So, hold on, I'm gonna do, because you're still heard, I'm gonna do this. If you or a loved one is a VTuber and wants to be a part of a potential thing about being on the VOD to discuss topics like D&D, sorry, I have the hiccups right now for whatever reason, like D&D, stuff like that, consider joining my Discord server. If you're not a part of my Discord server already, you should join it because it's super cool. But with this new discussion stuff going on, I wouldn't mind having you to discuss things and talk about things. Anywho, let me go back to this. There we are. So
Phoenica brings up a good point. There's more than just D&D too. There's a whole bunch. There's a whole realm of tabletop role playing games that you could have for that kind of discussion.
Well, it's like one of these days I'd love to do a Warhammer, one, because people forget Warhammer is tabletop RPG.
Yeah.
So, your turn system, the amount of role playing you do, rolling, attacking, and doing all this, is like the role playing system in D&D? No, not by a long shot. It is combat. It is just straight combat. But the thing is, what you do with that, you are encouraged to make up your own story and make up what happens during the battle. You're talking about that because, in Warhammer, at least in the tabletop game. Oh my goodness, the sequencing and how you'd have to do things, it's so important. And so if you go into the sorry, I just looked at a message somebody sent me, and I had to do a double take.
Oh boy.
Sorry. Not gonna talk about that stream. It was fun. Anyway, yeah, Warhammer.
No, I 100% get you. Like, especially because in 40K there's so much supplemental material that like helps you kind of immerse yourself in that world and get into that mindset for the game. Like, yeah, it's I can very much see like getting into that mindset, getting into that like that mood, and just having fun beyond just what the combat system allows for.
Well, it's like the biggest thing I had to learn about playing it was like, you can't take the game too seriously. You can't get too it's just play the game and have fun. If your two entire squads get decimated a single turn, just take the loss. It just means the game will end quicker. And you're having fun, because the thing is, like, there are moments like I was playing a game with a buddy and with one of my roommates, and the thing is, he kept killing my guys. But in 40K, when you use a weapon called a plasma pistol or anything plasma, you have the option instead to overcharge it. And when you do that, you deal so much more damage. You have more opportunities to hit, and it's easier like that. But at the very end, you have to roll a die, and if you get a 6, you instantly die. No matter what, no matter how much health you have, the gun explodes and you die. No matter how much health you have, the person holding the plasma pistol dies on the spot if they roll a 6. And so every time my buddy would use that, every single time he would roll a 6, and he'd kill like 10 of my people, but every single time he would do that, he would keep all those people having the plasma would just die. And so it was like, what is going on here? They just have a bunch of defective plasma pistols, and that was the lore we created for it.
That's so funny.
Their faith in their chaos god and their whatever Primarch they were following was far greater than the cheap Timu or freaking, I can't remember what, AliExpress plasma guns that they wanted or that they got.
Going out in a blaze of glory. Like,
going out in a blaze.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Oh my word. Military surplus scrap metal banged together in the shape of a plasma gun. That's just the orc. That's just orc guns.
Yeah.
Hydrate. I will hydrate.
The power of belief.
Hi, schmoozer. That is a good fresca. Oh yeah. Whew. Well, let's spend these last 10 minutes talking about your face.
Oh. Yeah? What about my face?
You have a good looking face.
I have one. Thank you.
So I'm not saying that to flirt by any means. I'm saying that because our wonderful guest here actually streams with a face cam. And so the reason why I bring that up is not a whole lot of VTubers these days. Some of them do. They don't stream with their, do streams with their face,
Yeah.
We in the industry, we in the business like to call them flesh tubers.
Yeah.
So, you said you were streaming and you had your full face present even before you did all the streaming with a PNG.
Yeah, like way back before I actually, because Iris Fulgur is actually a complete rebrand. I wanted to have a unique thing. It was originally Fire Kirby. And then I'm like, I want to have my own username that isn't reliant on an other property, so this'll work, and basically rebranded entirely from there. But yeah, no, before all that and before I had everything really set up, I was not shy about having my face on camera, and I still have it, it's in my history. You can go back and find it on my YouTube. I've basically uploaded pretty much everything I have onto my YouTube at this point, because Twitch got rid of highlights, which is unfortunate. But yeah, no, I'm not shy about having that still up, and I don't do that as much anymore, just because I generally prefer to have the webcam up, or the PNG tuber up. But it, and during the D&D streams, you can see that our DM Warboss does have webcams up, and honestly, if I were to start DMing myself, I would do the same thing, just because it's nice to have that face to the characters that are being played, all the NPCs and everything. It's good to have that kind of expression that doesn't really carry through with a PNG. Or eventually, if I get a model, I might do that, but either or.
Yeah. No, I understand completely. Flesh tubers is so... Can I cuddle? Wait a minute. Thank you, Schmoozer. Flesh tubers is blurst. It's a eldritch horror. Yeah, I'm glad you don't like the phrase flesh tuber. What else would you call it? A meat puppet?
I mean,
That sounds even
we
worse.
are all meat puppets.
We are-
We are all meat puppets controlled by skeletons.
I was gonna say
We are flesh mechs.
there is a spirit Halloween skeleton guiding your corpse right now. So, a carry-on
carrion
marionette.
marionette sounds rad.
It's a carrion a carrionet marionette. That was a stupid name. Don't listen to me. But yeah, how do you have the confidence to do that? Because like, I think I'm a decent looking person. I like myself. However, when it comes to like being on camera, I have no confidence whatsoever.
So, I think for me it was a lack of confidence and more just like, yeah, this is what people do. I don't really care about having my face out there.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was less that I thought I looked good enough for camera and more me just being like, yeah, again, it's a preservation thing. I want to see my expressions that aren't carried through in voice and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that is honestly something that I do kind of miss about that, but at the same time it's like, hopefully if I do get a model that'll start coming through a little bit more. But we'll see.
Yeah. I imagine it'll be a lot of fun. Whatever route you choose to do for your model, whether you want to do like a more animal-esque one, or you do the
Go full what's the name?
the human...
Kinjinka or whatever. Yeah.
Well, I could at least, I guess, in the moment, I could imagine like, would you consider if you were doing the VTuber, like the humanoid aspect, would you consider your persona in that case like a more like golden retriever-esque kind of personality with it, or
God, I probably, yeah, that's honestly probably the vibe. Golden retriever energy is very accurate. Oh God.
Well, because
I've never really considered that, but that's spot on, I think.
That's what I've been referred to as like a golden retriever energy. Like, it may not seem like it on this show, but people who know me, and especially like when I start to get really excited on stream, that's just kind of how I am. And like with the models I'll have going forward, I kind of want to reflect that, because I love this model, don't get me wrong. Thank you, Zaki. Wonderful. Going forward, like, I would love to have a little more like, I don't know if I call it feminine, maybe a little more like femboy-ish model. So, but my point being is that it would match the personality more, because this is like very business professional. So
that's fair.
But I could just, I don't know, I at least imagine like this, big guy model, like this big VTuber model, having like a rainbow vest and like rolled up sleeves with like
hell yeah.
I don't know why. I just envision like a muscular upper body with like, biceps, but like rolled up, like dress shirt, tie with like a rainbow vest, maybe rainbow highlights in the hair, stuff like that.
Yeah, that could be. Oh yeah, that's definitely stuff to think. I've considered that kind of stuff as well, for sure. Just the full like Genjinka kind of vibe.
Yeah. Oh, it's Spirited. Hey, Spirited, what's going on?
Hey.
Yeah, just planning models and stuff like that. It's always a fun time. It's just finding the right artist. Like, I love my artist that I have for this model. So.
But yeah, I love workshopping designs with artists. It's always so fun.
Exactly.
It's always a blast.
Escaping work? Well, we're going to be wrapping up the show pretty soon, because we're actually doing pretty decently well, keeping to our 1 hour time slot.
Imagine being on schedule.
It'll be nice, because I was talking about in my server how I wasn't eating. I haven't really eaten the past 24 hours, and I finally ate something, and I feel much better, but I also feel a little tired, so after stream, I might take like a 15-minute power nap.
Food coma.
So, but the thing is, I had like a big, because I was telling you, I had this big old thing of Cafe Rio, like pulled pork nachos. and it's always 1 hour. And I had this big thing, and I maybe had like a sixth of it. Maybe you know, I barely had. I had some of it. Like if you're looking at that at a circle, you know, the circular tin that it comes in, like maybe have like take your finger and maybe do like from the side of it inward to like just your index finger. It's probably about how much I had of just like that side. Like if you cut it off like to the point, you basically just draw a line straight up and down. That's probably how much I have. So there's still a lot left in there. But
Yeah, sometimes if you haven't eaten for a while, you can only really stomach a little bit before your body goes like, oh, I'm actually hungry, hang on.
it doesn't help that my medication just doesn't like makes me not hungry. It suppresses my appetite. So
that tracks.
Ew, it happens, but it's all good. But yeah, we're stream has been a lot of fun today, and I think because we're able to do I think doing the hour, it works better for your schedule, works better for mine, but it allows us to have like snappy interview questions. Not to mention,
for sure.
we covered a lot of different topics and ground with this.
Yeah.
And you can tell
we didn't even get into like the voice acting and stuff. That's like, hopefully soon.
Oh yeah, and
Fingers
the thing is,
crossed.
oh, excuse me. Oh yeah, and the thing is, because we were doing 1 hour now, I'd wager I wouldn't mind like going forward. Once I set it up, I wouldn't mind having the second hour. We make that like a Patreon exclusive.
Ooh, that could be fun.
That could be very fun.
That could be very fun.
But it'd be like a $2 exclusive. So, you know.
Yeah, just something for people who want to support.
Yeah, but the best of all, if you do, because there's with the $5 tier, that kind of unlocks a lot of other stuff. But for the $2 tier, that's just throw in support. You get access to the extra hour after show. Not to mention, you'll also get your name in credits that will play at the end of every stream and end of every project I do. So all for $2.
Hell yeah.
But I haven't finished setting that up and publishing my page. So until then, we're just doing 1 hour. But it's time for us to talk about and when that happens, I don't mind having you back just to you and I talk in private. You know, no chat.
Yeah.
And we just kind of hang out and talk. We can just record that in our own time. Because I'd love to talk about that. I love talking about voiceover. So it's so much fun. It's so much fun. It's so good. That's a gripe for a different time. So it's time for me to ask my 10 questions that I ask at the end of every episode of my show. These questions were created by writer, actor, director James Lipton that he will often ask his guests on a show inside the actor studio. These questions have no right or wrong answer. They're just simply for us to see what our guest responds with. Now, if you've never played this game before, you've never answered, I highly encourage you to give your answers in chat. So without further ado, Iris, are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, question number 1. What is your favorite word?
So my favorite word is actually sonder.
Why sonder?
It is the
What is sonder?
It is the understanding that other people live a life that is just as complex and fulfilled as your own. It's a very empathetic, very kind of word I like to live by, where it's just like, yeah, I live my life, and just because this person I meet for like 10-15 seconds of that life is here and gone doesn't mean that their life isn't just as complex, just as long-lived, just as intricate, and that they don't have their own desires or beliefs. Or I always try to go into every experience with that kind of mindset, and that word just kind of encapsulates all of that. It's just everyone's the main character of their own story. Everyone has their own story to tell.
How very transcendentalist of you.
Yeah.
For those that don't understand, that reference, I highly encourage you to look up the names Ralph Waldo Emerson, Henry David Thoreau, and there's like a famous woman, I think Margaret Fuller or something like that. Very famous writers in the 1830s or 40s that kind of deals with that kind of line of thinking. So,
that's very fun.
Yeah, what is your least favorite word?
so I'm not going to say it.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a slur, and
What?
it starts with an F. So
Wait.
that-
Hold on. I think you're gonna have to explain that a little bit.
It is a word where if anyone says it, I immediately, my opinion of that person has instantly shot to the floor.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. I said, what is your least favorite word? For whatever reason, I thought I asked, what is your
Yep.
favorite curse word? And my
No,
mind,
no,
that's why I reacted
no,
the way I did.
No.
Sorry,
No.
this is what happens
No,
when you
no,
don't
no.
eat for almost 24
No,
hours.
no.
I was like,
No.
I was like,
I do not say that word. No.
I'm so sorry. This is why it's important to just
No.
remember, stay hydrated, eat your food, kids, because then you're going.
Sip, everyone.
Oh my goodness, that is incredibly embarrassing. Yeah, no, that is a terrible word. Thank you. I'm sorry. Can you
Yeah, no,
understand my
you're good.
reaction now?
Yeah. No, I get you. I'm like, I would never say that. That's why I literally started this. Like, I'm not going to say this word.
Yeah. No, sorry. Just the. In my mind, what is your favorite word? So it's a slur. Like, wait. No. Wait. Oh my word. I don't think we need to elaborate on that word any further.
No,
why it's bad.
I would hope not. I would hope it's fairly clear why that is no.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. What inspires you creatively, spiritually, or emotionally? Because clearly not
So-
that.
I like just improving on my own work. I personally like seeing progress. I mean, again, big proponent of preservation for that kind of reason.
Yeah.
I like seeing how far I've come. I like seeing improvement, and I like telling stories that are just building upon the groundwork that I've already laid out. It's just one of those fun things where I'll get to like explore stuff that I hadn't even considered in the past.
Yeah. It's progress is very much a good motivator for anything.
Mm-hmm.
So then what ruins that inspiration?
In a word, doom scrolling.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting so wrapped up in like the most minute, like inconsequential stuff that you just cannot control, and just getting sucked into that just negative downward spiral, and just completely losing yourself in that despair or just helplessness. It's rough, and I unfortunately have fallen down that spiral a couple more times than I would care to admit, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Don't doom
it
scroll.
can. No, don't. Just I don't go on social media. Discord's all I have, and it's to connect with friends, and that's it.
Yeah, I understand completely. That's why I impose limits on how long I spend on social media apps. The only one I kind of don't like, because I feel like if I'm just looking at like, I'm just sitting on my bed and just kind of just looking at YouTube Shorts. You know, I'm not like I'm just being entertained. I'd be watching a YouTube video either way. But if I feel like if you're
Yeah.
just doing it without any purpose and any care for anything, I feel like that's what's bad. If we're just like watching like YouTube Shorts or something like that, it's like, haha, that's funny. You know, I wouldn't consider that doom scrolling. I don't know, maybe.
And then you look at the clock, and an hour has passed. It's like, oh no.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I feel like I've learned there's no wrong way to spend your time.
That's fair.
You can waste it,
I think
sure.
so long as you're enjoying yourself, yeah.
Exactly. I feel you can waste it, but there's no wrong way to spend your time. Because it's your time at the end of the day. And wasting it is entirely subjective upon self-analysis and reflection. So, you know, if I spend an hour and a half looking at YouTube Shorts, clearly I had the time for it, and I didn't have any other plans to do. So it was time well spent, in my opinion. It's like, you could have been doing other stuff. It's like, I could have, but I didn't want to. So...
I think that's a grounded way to think about it.
Because people think they constantly need to be doing something. They need to be going and going and going. It's like, no, just do what you want. Not every, because like after stream today, I'm not gonna be doing any homework. Not gonna be doing any stream stuff. I'm just gonna like take a 15-minute power nap, you know, and just kind of recharge my brain. And then I'm just gonna hang out and play video games for the rest of the night because I've needed to do that for so long. because I need to
Hell
just
yeah.
not work. Last time I worked as hard as I did, I had COVID. I had a lung infection with it, and I was basically dying, and it was not great. And that was in November. That was a couple months ago because I was doing my very first audio drama. So, and it didn't make it any better because then Lucius Merriweather reached out and wanted to be a part of it, and I lost my mind. And I'm like, oh, well, now I gotta really do this. And so the stress just like, but on the bright side, I now have a contact with Merriweather. So, and I cherish that to this day. I've not messaged him or his team. I have not messaged him personally or him and his wonderful, one of his wonderful managers since, because I don't want to ruin that relationship at all, or just reach out for whatever, because we're friends on Discord now, and like, I don't want to touch that for the 1,000-foot pole. I just want to keep it where it is. So, anywho,
just keep a line open, baby.
what is your favorite curse word that isn't that slur?
It's not
Good.
any slur.
Wonderful, that's the correct answer.
I would need to look back at this stream. I don't think I've actually cursed at all.
Good,
yet.
that's right, that's wonderful.
I would need to go back and check, but I drop F-bombs like seasoning when I'm talking casually. I use it fairly liberally when I'm just in a casual context with friends, or like when I'm on stream and just kind of goofing off, doing whatever.
Yeah.
It is a as a writer, it is a very potent way to emphasize something that you want to emphasize.
Yeah.
You can say you are kidding, or you could say, are you effing kidding?
Exactly. Like,
It's
well, excuse me.
yeah.
It really does depends on how you want to use it. There's a lot of applications, and it changes a lot in what you say in your meeting.
It is a part of language, and I agree that some curses have a time and place, but like, they're just another part of language.
Exactly.
They convey meaning, and a lot of that meaning is understood by a lot of different people.
Now, there is a difference between, words have meaning, therefore we shouldn't take we shouldn't take too kindly to it, just too much considered. It's like, no, that's why we give them meaning. So, because I had a discussion with a buddy, and they're like, without going into too much detail, they try to justify the use of a certain word, and I'm like, no, you can't. I'm like, it's only a bad word because we make it out to be a bad word. It's just a word. That's all it is. I'm like, yes. However, that's just how communication
of the word.
That's how
It's
communication works. That's how it's happened for centuries. It happened for thousands of years. It's like, sure, the meaning of one word can change over time, but the thing is, there's a reason why words that we still use to this day have the same meaning as they did when they were originally created. So that argument is kind of invalid. So
I would also need to go back and look into it again. There's also a fun research done on the actual like origin of a lot of curse words, which is very fun to look into.
they are
If I recall correctly, it comes down to a lot of economic disparity between speaking classes, and that's always fun to look into.
Oh yeah. So our next question: what sound or noise do you love?
Oh man, this is I've looked over these questions. This is one I still have not really like nailed down. I think what I'm gonna go with is wind chimes. Just very gentle, like melodic kind of sounds is usually what I gravitate towards. I listen to a lot of like EDM, and I don't like harsher toned EDM stuff. I usually gravitate towards more of that like melodic kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna just double down and say wind chimes for the time being.
They're really
That
nice.
kind of chiming effect. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're really nice. What sound or noise do you hate?
God. Nails on a chalkboard, or like styrofoam rubbing against I can't. My hearing is so sensitive. Anytime I hear that high pitched sound or like that squeak, I just can't. It makes me cringe. Even thinking about it, I'm just like
Yeah, I understand completely. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
So, I obviously, like, I'm not a voice actor yet, but that is obviously the main goal.
Yeah.
But like, that aside, because that's what I'm working towards, I've genuinely considered like actually like being a delivery driver or like trucking or anything along those lines, because I genuinely do just like vibing and driving around. It's very chill, especially if you've got your own music or playlists or anything.
It's as long as the delivery drivers are taken care of and stuff like that, it's very much like, I like labor jobs. I like manual labor jobs, but only if I'm treated right. So, because like I love landscaping, I love yard work, so that's a job I wouldn't mind doing.
Hell yeah.
What job would you not like to do?
So, so full disclosure, I work in I work at a grocery at the moment, and I work in the meat department. I am fine working with meat. I could not be in the butcher shop, like doing the actual kills and everything. Like that's a step too far for me.
I concur.
I don't think I could ever stomach that. And I understand to a certain extent that's like willful distancing of that kind of stuff. And like, fingers crossed, if we do eventually start working on it, we can eventually just be able to develop synthetic meats and stuff, because I would 100% be down for that.
See,
but
I don't mind the killing of animals. I only I care about how it's done and how respectful it is to animals. Because in my eyes, we are animals. Humans are animals. We are at the top of the food chain. We are entitled to kill other animals and eat animals because that's what the food chain necessitates. Now, however, that doesn't give us the right to kill needlessly and do so in a disrespectful manner. So, you know, I am fully okay with killing animals for food and for sustenance, but doing so for the wrong reasons and for not respecting where you get it from, that is the issue I have. Because again, humans are animals. We're not special. We are a part of the ecosystem. So, you know, it's just a matter of that respect when it comes to where we get our food. And that's what's important to me, is like, we need to be treating the animals we have right. If it means we don't have as much meat and protein, fine by me. I don't mind that. But, you know, it just needs to be done in a way that is not so terribly mass produced. So anyway, that's a different soapbox.
Agreed. Yeah. No, I feel like we could spin off and do a whole tangent on this discussion, because I have a lot I could say on that as well.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, for sure. Butcher shops, like actual kill floors, I don't think I could manage that personally.
Oh, yeah. No, I understand. And our last question is, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gate?
You know, I forgot this question was on the list. I hadn't thought about this one. I guess, damn, you made it.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's like, I live my life to be a good person. I don't necessarily have that much faith, but like, if I make it, it's hopefully because I put enough good in the world that I took out of it. And that's all I really care about.
Yeah. It's, comfort's what a lot of people just want in the end. That's what a lot of people deserve. So.
True. True.
Well, this has been nothing short of a fun stream, and I am so happy we got to have it. You know, we haven't talked really a whole lot as much, and I'm hoping that going forward we can, because Iris, you are a fun person, and I love hopping into your streams. I don't talk a lot in streams, but I certainly lurk, and I appear every now and then.
I've got a couple lurkers. It's all good. I don't mind it. Just so long as we're vibing, we're having a good time. That's
Lurkers
all I care
are the
about.
bread and butter. They are the first and the last line of defense when it comes to streamers. So,
Hell yeah.
But with that, I think it's time we wrap this up. Yeah, thank you for coming on. So it's time for me to ask my last.
It's been great.
It's time for me to ask my last, and in my opinion, our second most important question is: who shall we raid that we have not raided before? And
So
while you look that up, I'll address the chat. So let's see. Oh my word! I just hiccups. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us today on this episode of the VOD. I am really happy. I'm really excited. A lot of fun things are being planned, being made. The Patreon, that's the biggest one that's happening, and I hope that you guys can join me along with that, because we are going to be having a lot of great and fun content, and I'm just really happy and excited. Not to mention, with my schedule being cleared up a little more, it's going to be a lot of fun. If you want to support the work that I do, the voice acting work, the audio stuff, the streaming stuff, I do a lot of events, I do a lot of things. My socials are right there. If you want to support me on Throne or suggest things, there it is there. For instance, somebody in one day, in the span of an hour, suggested thigh highs. So a lot of things go there. If you're not a part of my Discord, consider joining my Discord. You can talk with me, Iris, and many other past guests. And lastly, consider following me on YouTube as consider following me on YouTube, as I do a lot of content there. I do a lot of voiceover stuff there. And if we hit 1,000K, so thigh highs are in the future. If somebody buys me thigh highs, sorry, I can't do my eyebrows really fast. It's like the fast raising right now. Somebody, how much are the thigh highs? Hold on.
Are they on the, did you actually add them to the throne?
Oh, they've been there for a while. Willow, oh my word.
Oh.
The thigh highs are there. So, I don't know how much they are. Oh, I have to update it. I gotta update it. It's in my, oh, the throat is incorrect.
Yeah, it was just a request last I saw.
Oh no. That's embarrassing. Hold on. Give me a moment.
Time to update that. Give the people what they want.
Hey, if people want to, they can. There's a lot of funny things there. Where the hell is my? Where are you, Stream Elements? Don't you tempt me. Give us what we want. Yeah. So if I get people end up getting the thigh highs. Question. So if I get the thigh highs and I take the pics of the thigh highs and I put that on the Patreon, are you guys gonna support the Patreon? You get thigh high pics and you also help fund the VO shows in the future. Am I whoring myself out to fund VO shows? You bet your sweet bippy I am. Where is it? Where are you? Hotel Travago? No, it's not that one. Maybe it's in Moobot. You bet your thigh highs I am. Oh my word. So I think I changed it to, it should now be, it's Valentine VT. Oh, wrong thing. Yeah, it is. Alright, there it is. Come with me. There we are. Alright, where were we? Where were we, kiddos? There it is.
Getting
right
ready for the raid, I would
hey,
assume.
hey, however you make it is still, it's $1 made. That's true. Got a prompt to metal pipe you. Sounds enticing. So anyway, there's the throne right there. There's a lot of
Excellent.
there's a lot of fun stuff on there. Well, I don't remember adding fishnet. Like what? I don't remember adding fishnet stockings to that. Wait a minute. I don't remember adding that. Why are they glow in the dark? What is this world?
Oh damn, you're gonna have to show that off if somebody gets them for you.
No. All right then. Okay, time to go back to things so I can get you on here. Okay, where were we? So, thank you, Vivian. Y'all are enjoying this way too much. The moment I mentioned thigh highs, the moment I mentioned thigh highs, they're like, "What? Money? Where?"
Absolutely devolved into chaos there for a moment. It's great.
If I got those fishnets, I'd have to shave my legs. That's how it'd have to go. Anyway, we're not talking about
you wouldn't have to.
We're not talking about this. We're not talking about this right now. If we're talking about this, y'all are funding the Patreon.
Yeah. This is the part of the show that would go on the Patreon if that were set up at this point.
Anyway, have you found a person for us to raid?
Yeah, so I've got a fellow streamer that's been done some collabs with me in the past for 33 Immortals, which is a really fun 33-player cooperative raiding game. And he does a whole bunch of other streams on his stuff. He's got more of a pirate theme, and he goes by Lich Seaweaver on Twitch. And he is currently playing Mario Kart World, which is what I'm going to be hopping on in a little bit as well. So
Let's stream together. Where is it? How do you spell it?
Lich Seaweaver. So LICHSEAWEAVER.
Cool. Let's get that started.
Yeah.
So this has been fun, but alas, we must head out because I need to take a quick power nap. But by golly, some of y'all are thirsty. But hey, whatever funds the VO shows, if I gotta work
Thirsty
a little
for Dr. Pepper, baby.
if I gotta work a little hard to make sure that my artists get paid fairly, then by golly,
Yeah.
I know what I must do. So, oh no. So, with that in mind, my name is Val. This has been Iris Fulgur, and thank you so much for joining us on the VOD. We hope you have a wonderful day, and join me tomorrow as we have our next. Sorry. I suddenly am having a stroke. Join us tomorrow as we have our next guest, Nico Mirai, as we have that, I think, at either 4 p.m. MST or 5 p.m. MST. Regardless, I hope you guys have a wonderful night, and take care. Bye-bye!
Bye.